Hello everyone, welcome to Peach on Earth Tarot. Today I'm going to be doing a reading for Libra. Normally I say that you can have Libra anywhere in your chart, but for some reason this month I am being called to specify, the typical three, the sun, moon, rising, but then also north node, like you could have a north node in Libra, or I guess even a south node in Libra, but I'm getting more north node energies that we're being called to I feel like there's this really big transition going on where everyone is going from like more south node energy to north node energy. If you don't know what your north node is, just go to Cafe Astrology and you'll need your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth in order to find your chart. I don't think that you actually need your time or place for your north node. I could be wrong, but I don't think you do. You can just find that with just your birthday. But anyway, so you can have sun, moon, rising, north node in your in Libra is what I'm getting. Now we are starting with the spells deck, and the spells deck, what they had me do is, I shuffled the 11 times like I would for, starting any Libra reading, but then they had me fan them all out, and they kind of had me pick one, fanned them out face down, and then picked one. And the only reason I have this card here is because it's the same picture of this one. It was the first one with the same picture, and just to cover it up because this kind of has layers to it. And I'm going to look at the first part, what the card is, and then at the end of the reading we'll look at the bottom part. But anyway, what I was kind of seeing first off with this image here was, it's almost like, to me, it looks like a person that's wearing a red cloak and they're carrying something. And it could be, I was getting first like a baby or like groceries, stuff like that, but then it could just be like a metaphorical something that you're carrying. And with this little line here, the swirly line, it almost feels like an umbilical cord. So there's something that you could be like trying to birth out into the world right now. But then also there could be something that's attached to you, like a person or an energy that is like attached to you. But if you see, the end isn't even attached to you anymore, it's more like wrapped around you. But if it's something that you're like bringing into the world, something creative, then it needs to become attached to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, not attached, because attachment's never good, but it's just like you need to kind of like keep it, like tether it to you somehow. Okay, so three muses. That's really interesting because of the creativity, the something like a project you're birthing into the world. Like, muses are about creativity. They inspire people to be their most creative selves. So there's something that you're carrying with you right now that you're needing to like actually like take action on. I think right now it's just an idea and you haven't quite taken action on it yet. And with this red cape that I was seeing, it's almost like you need to, it's the grounding, right? It's the root chakra. There's something about your root chakra that's needing worked on. Because if you see, this isn't a bright red, it's more of like a burnt red. And so there's something about it that you're needing to really ground down. And that's the thing, is like, that's the whole taking an idea and birthing it into the world. It's a thought. Right now it's a thought. And the baby, the umbilical cord here of the baby, the thing that you're birthing, it's like you're birthing it into the earth, and it needs to be grounded. That's the way to ground it. It's like you're bringing something to the world. Okay, now in the number 3, there could actually be 3 things that you're working on currently. It doesn't have to be, but you definitely could be working on 3 different things, and you might feel a little bit scattered by that. You might feel a little bit like overwhelmed, like I wish I could just make a decision, but I think you're being called to kind of actually find a way, and don't guilt yourself, like find a way to work on 1 or 3 of these things, or all 3 of these things every day. It doesn't have to be all 3. It can be just 1, or even like some days you can take rest days. It's okay. As long as, like, even on your rest days, try to like ground it down. Be like, okay, I need a rest day, but I still want to make sure that I'm grounding this down, that the universe knows that I'm still taking this really seriously and I still want this. But you don't have to work on all 3 things every single day if you have 3 things that you're doing. It just, I think as long as you have it in your thoughts, in your mind, and knowing that what you really want, you have a plan of action that you're wanting to commit to and that you're wanting to take forward in the world. So it says, when you're in need of inspiration, stoke the creative fires of polyhymnia, Talia, and Calliope. I don't know if I'm saying that first or even the second one right, but they're the 3 muses, right? The Greek goddesses of poetry, comedy, and singing. Now those could be things that you're working on. Poetry, comedy, singing, something like that. It doesn't have to be. It can be literally anything. But those 3 things, if that's something that you are working on, it's like a confirmation for you. Okay? So we'll look at the bottom half of that later. What we're going to start with is the Heaven and Earth Tarot. Now, it's so interesting that they had me pull this deck out this month. This is actually the first time I've ever worked with it on my channel. But it's like, I really feel like there's something, like a big, it's a whole collective thing. It's not just like Libra. It's all of the collective, I think, is birthing these spiritual thoughts and these things that we are guided to, instead of like being more like doing the humdrum, like, oh, I gotta go to work and I gotta do this and blah, 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 like just committing our lives to things that don't bring us any fulfillment. I honestly think that there's a huge shift happening, and we're being called to, and that's kind of like that North Node thing. Like the South Node kind of keeps us more like in the present, and then the North Node is about like being our authentic selves. But I will say the North Node can make us feel a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. It makes us feel like, when you read, like if you have North Node in Libra, I don't know what North Node in Libra means, but like I would have to say that it has something to do with being decisive, or something like that. And really like knowing what you want, really committing to what you want. But it's like when we look at our North Node, it can make us feel very, very uncomfortable, because we're so used to living in our South Node. We're so used to holding ourselves back from like our truth and what we deserve, which is our North Node. And when we look at it, it can be triggering, like, no one can live that way. Like, okay, I'm just going to give an example just because I only know my kind of North Node. So my North Node is Taurus, and I feel really uncomfortable with desiring money to have nice things. I feel really, really uncomfortable with that. Even though it's something I desire, it makes me feel like a bad person because I desire that. And like finding partnership in people, I am very, very like, I desire ultra independence. And so looking at my North Node, it triggers me, because I'm like, how can someone want to be codependent? How can someone want money? Because money can be so toxic and negative. And so I'm really trying to find ways in which, like, find like a way to love those things about the world, and therefore about my desires, because it's like something that I feel dirty about, right? And so that's kind of like the North Node thing. But then one day we realize that we're worthy of these things that we desire. You know, we're worthy of them. And I feel like there's a huge shift kind of happening in the world right now where we're going from south to north node. Okay, so anyway, that was a really long description, sorry. Let's see here. What is the message for Libra, please? What is the message for Libra? What is the message for Libra? I did just see the Three of Swords, but it went back in. So it is almost like painful. There's something... Okay. The Queen of Pentacles. So you could actually have your North Node in like an Earth sign, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Because the Princess of Pentacles is also on the bottom. And so it's like a very Earth energy. Okay, so this Queen of Pentacles. Hang on a second. Let me just kind of look at her here for a second. Okay, so this is really interesting. Really, really interesting. So, on this card here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's has the alchemical symbol for water, and then for water and earth. Sorry, I had those backwards, but that's water, that's earth, and then Sagittarius, and then Capricorn. So I mean, those things could be pertinent to you or important to you in your chart or whatnot. I am hearing that you could have your North Node in Capricorn. But, so what's kind of happening here is, so the Queen of Pentacles is like the ultimate, she knows how to nurture things of the earth. And now it's interesting because I was seeing like someone carry a baby here. And it is like a very nurturing mother type of energy. So you could actually be desiring, or that's kind of like your North Node is like maybe you're scared of becoming a parent, but you are being called to start a family. Now that's not going to be for everyone, but it could be for some, or like finding yourself more suited. Like maybe you already have kids, but you've never felt like a maternal energy, or you've always resisted a more maternal energy because you've been like, maybe you were raised to be more strict and harsh and whatnot, and so that's kind of like the parenting style that you took on as well. But something is shifting in you within that. Now, not everyone is going to relate to that. It's not going to be just for parents. There is something, it's almost like whatever project it is that you're wanting to start, whether it be one thing or three things or whatever, however many things, it's almost like you're needing to parent it. You're needing to nurture it and not be stern with it. It's almost like that thing where it's like you feel hard on yourself if you don't work on one of your projects for a whole day or something, you know, but you're allowed to have those days off. That's an important part of it. That's a nurturing thing that you do for yourself, is you tell yourself it's okay to take some time off. As long as you're not abusing it, it's okay to feel tired one day and not want to work towards something, okay? And so I honestly feel like you need to constantly remind yourself of that. You need to constantly remind yourself that it's okay. Just show yourself grace, you know, and show others grace as well. It's not just you, it's you and others. Be patient and kind and nurturing towards whatever it is that you're trying to bring into the world, whatever it is that you are working on. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and switch to the Rider-Waite here. And let's see what the message is here regarding this Queen of Pentacles. I love this. Okay. Because we have the King of Cups. So it's almost like, hang on. They're saying something about how the kings can be more of like the sternness. And we do have the Five of Swords on the bottom with the King of Cups. So hang on, let me think about this here for a second. Oh. Oh. Okay, so what they're kind of saying here, and I don't know if this is going to be for everyone, but this is definitely a message coming through, is there's a person in your life, it could be a masculine, it doesn't have to be like a man, but just someone who is more in their masculine energy, that they take a lot for themselves. They take a lot of your energy for themselves, I'm hearing. It's almost like if you are a stay-at-home parent, because I'm getting that like some of you are already a parent, but it's almost like you feel drained and you can't work on what it is that you need, what it is that will bring you fulfillment, because there's so many other demanding things in your life. Like it could either be work, or it could be being a stay-at-home parent, or it could be a spouse that demands a lot of you, a boss that demands a lot of you. Because it is, cups is emotion, so it's like, it's almost like there's something draining your emotions, that's taking your emotions from you. That's that umbilical cord, that attachment. There's something attached to you that's draining you. And I think you really need to find out what it is. If you don't already know, when I said that out loud, you might have been like, yes, I know what that is. If you don't, you really need to figure it out. And it's interesting because like part of it is like, with what's on the bottom of the three muses is stones of power, and it says sacred stones to promote endurance, energy, and power. And so it's almost like you need to take the power back. You need to find the power for yourself and not just serve others. Because also I'm getting that it's an outside person and they're on an island. And so it's almost like they take everything for themselves and then remove themselves. Like they don't take on any of the burden. They're just watching from afar. Now, also, this could mean like your emotions. You feel emotionally on an island. Like you don't have anyone to rely on. You don't have anyone to count on. Okay, I kind of want to keep going here with this King of Cups. Yeah, let's just look real quick. I am trying to make these videos a little bit shorter to cut down on like upload time, because my upload schedule has changed recently. So anyway, I'm just trying to cut the video times down a little bit, but I could go on forever. Can I have one or two more cards, please, with this? Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This energy, the moon's on the bottom. I really feel like this energy is kind of making you defensive. It's making you put up walls. It's making you, and I'm not saying like we don't have power over ourselves and like that we can blame others for our problems, because we can't. When we allow people to do these things, it's because we allow them to. It's like that attachment, right? We allow them to attach to us, and it's up to us to remove those attachments. And it's interesting that I'm getting this, because when we remove our attachments, you know, it's what's happening is we learn to set boundaries with people. We learn to tell them what is okay and what isn't okay. And so with the Seven of Wands, it's like defensiveness. And I think that when we tell ourselves we're going to set a boundary, it doesn't come out that way. It doesn't come out pretty all the time, because usually the people we're setting boundaries with have never respected our boundaries before. And so we just learn to not set them. And so when we do finally decide to set a boundary, it has to come out kind of in a harsh way. It has to be like sharp in order for them to hear it, to see it, to feel it. And then we can kind of beat ourselves up over that, because you want to be more nurturing. You don't want to be a harsh person. But sometimes when we set those boundaries, it can come out that way. And I think it's just really important to nurture yourself in that moment and say it's okay that it came out that way. It's okay. It's like almost a fear of confrontation. It's like self-preservation to not confront something, but really the confrontation will help you more self-preserve. You know what I mean? Like help you live more in your truth by setting a boundary. Okay, so we're going to look at the 3 muses. It says, light an incense of amber, frankincense, or any scent that awakens your senses. Leave your creative tools near the smoke. Instrument, journal, paintbrush, whatever it is that you're using for this, whatever you're being called to do, that you're not giving to yourself, whatever it is that you would use for it, set it out while you're doing this. And visualize these tools infused with an artist muse. Recite any of the following. Let polyhymnia guide my pen and allow poetic revelations to flow. Talia, bestow me the gift of laughter through all of life's moments. Calliope, let me sing out proudly the voice of beauty and truth. Now it's interesting because it's almost like what I'm seeing here is the poetic revelations is almost like your truth, what it is that you're needing to set boundaries for, your truth. And then the laughter through all of life's moments is it's like the nurturing, the childlikeness, the joy that you will find in that. And then the voice of beauty and truth, it's almost like, let me sing out proudly the voice of beauty and truth. It's like speaking up for yourself. It's letting your truth be known to yourself and the world. Okay, so Libra, this has been your reading. I hope it was helpful. If it was, you can like, comment, share, subscribe. And I thank any of you for being present today, any of your guides that were present, any of my guides that were present, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.